We begin with breaking news out of Bemidji and an update on a story that we've been following for months about a young girl who says she was raped by multiple men. Today, Beltrami County Attorney David Hansen announced he's dropping sexual assault charges against the only man ever charged in this case, Oscar Luna. Valley News Team's Justin Betty joins us live tonight in studio with details. Justin.
Courtney, this story got national attention last September when an 11-year-old girl reported that she was tied up and sexually assaulted by multiple men in a house that matched the description, at least, of this one in Bemidji. Inside, authorities say they found 11 men who were processed as undocumented immigrants, along with one U.S. citizen from Texas named Oscar Luna. The attorney says the DNA collected from the girl proves that she was sexually assaulted. However, it does not match the description of any of the men from inside the house. However, the attorney says Luna does face a felony drug possession charge and has 2 outstanding warrants in Hennepin County. In a news release, Hansen thanked everyone who worked on the case, but adds in part, quote, "This case involves a little girl who experienced an unthinkable trauma, and for the prosecution to conclude with an outcome of no charges is itself another trauma, both for the victim and for all of the individuals who have put their heart and souls into this case," end quote.